you're on.
Good evening. Will the June 15th meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission come to order? Thank you all for attending tonight. For the benefit of those present who have not participated in the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, I will review our standard procedure for the meeting. First of all, Mr. Wallace is going to read the legal notice in the newspaper as soon as I get finished with this spiel. The applicants then will be invited to come forward and present their application, explaining to the Commission and the public what is specifically being requested of the subject property. Written comments from town agencies pertaining to the application then will be read into the record if the Commission has received these letters. The Commissioners will then ask for clarifying questions. The public will then be invited to ask questions they have about the application. I will then ask those in attendance to support or oppose the application to please come forward and state their reason for support or opposition. As this is a public hearing, it will be necessary for those coming forward to ask questions or to speak for or against the application to please clearly identify yourself and state your name and address for the record, which is going to be on tape and be recorded by videographer. At the conclusion of all statements from the public and the applicant, I will close the public hearing on the application. The applicant and the public are then free to leave or remain for the balance of the public hearings and the regular meeting of the Commission, at which time we may discuss each application under consideration and try to reach a decision. Each applicant will be notified in writing as to the decision of this Commission. The applicant or any aggrieved party with legal standing will have the right to appeal any decision we make to Superior Court within the statutory time frame if they so desire. All decisions reached at this meeting will be available to the public the next day by either visiting or calling the Planning and Zoning Office at 203-453-8039 after 9:30 a.m. Seated this evening are the following commissioners and staff. Dick Wallace, myself, Tom Cost, Ray Bauer, Rich Meyer, Phil Johnson, Josh Hirschman, and Frank DeAndrea. Town planner George Goss. Reggie, did I say someone wrong? Frank DeAndrea. No.
George Crowell.
George Crowell, Reggie Reed, Lisa Brewer, and over there, Shannon Gale. So would you read the legal notice, please?
Notice is hereby given that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on June 15, 2016 at 7:30 p.m., location being the Nathaniel B. Green Community Center, 32 Church Street, Guilford, Connecticut, the Monuckatuck Room on the second floor for the following purposes. Russell Campaign, Shattered Residence, 480 Clabbard Hill Road, map 81, lot 27, zone R8. Coastal site plan, minor additions to existing accessory structure within 100 feet of coastal resources for office and gym, section 273-36A and 273-91C, subsection 5B. Bayberry Creek Marina, 311 Chaffinch Island Road, map 23, lot 2, zone MR1. Coastal area management and site plan revision to create 2 apartment dwelling units in existing marina building. No existing changes, no additional parking required. Apartments will be serviced by existing septic systems, section 273-91 and section 273-73. Edward Miller, 104 Great Harbor Road, map 14, lot C-O-T.
Map 14, lot 22.
Lot 22, okay.
Zone
R5, coastal area management, modify the front of the house, including a new gable roof and the addition of 2 glass doors and a small deck to be added to the front of the cottage, section 273-91. The next item, Nicholas Varzo, 11 Pulpus Lane, map 122, lot 23-3, zone R8, special permit for human habitation of yurt. It's been continued to July 20th for the mandatory. First public hearing continued to July 20th for mandatory second hearing. Due to legal notice error, this application will be heard 7:20 and 8:03. Copies of these applications are available for inspection in the office of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Town Hall South, 50 Boston Street, Guilford, Connecticut. At this hearing, persons may attend and be heard, and written communications will be received. Dated at Guilford, Connecticut, this 25th day of May, 2016. Thomas Boss, Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, first thing on the agenda then is Russ, campaign, Shahid residence.
Good evening. I'm Russell Campaign with CK Architects, 131 Boston Street, Guilford, and I'm representing the Shahids, who I've seen 3 times now. This property is on 480 Clapperville Road, so the bridge is right here, and you cross the bridge. It's the first gate that's on the left-hand side. We were before you before around an apartment use of an existing garage building. This is an existing studio building that was built in 2001 as a heated wood shop and was converted into an art studio by the next owner. And my owner, which just purchased this property, is looking to continue to use it as a heated living space, but to convert it into the use of a gym space, add a half bath, and have a small office. It's just home use, no client base or anything along those lines. And as part of that application, we are adding 2 small open porches on the front and on the back as part of the conversion and doing some cosmetic changes to the exterior. So that sort of sums up, I think, the special permit for human application of an outbuilding of this sort. This is the second hearing for that. And then for the CAM, which is the first hearing for the CAM, because we are adding roughly 200 square feet of exterior porch onto the building, and we're within 100 feet of the coastal resource, it triggers a CAM hearing associated with this. There were no comments from John Goucher associated with it. It's a very minor improvement. We're basically going to be digging sonotubes. There's a total, I think, of 8 sonotubes that are being dug, which are going to be 10-foot holes that are probably going to be hand dug or used with an auger with a tire tractor vehicle. We are proposing silt fencing at the sort of crest of the slope. It's quite a radical drop down to the water here. It's roughly 20 feet of grade change. So the actual wetland species are all down at the bottom of the hill, and we have roughly 74 feet to this portion of the building, to the actual property line. I'm sorry. So it's 50. It's 29 feet actually to the critical coastal resource. So that is what Todd Anderson, who did the survey work, delineated as sort of the tidal wetland boundary. So there is some proximity, but there's a 20-foot grade change, and we have plenty of room and work area for us to put up silt fencing and protect any sort of facilitation. As I said, it's a very small, limited scope, and it will only probably occur over about a 2-week period. That will be closed down. We did submit this to the DEP for review on species. They came back that there is the eastern box turtle is in this area of habitat, and their recommendations were that we do install silt fencing, which would have, would be dug in so that they couldn't penetrate that. They asked that the silt fencing be removed as soon as the activity was completed. So as I said, that will probably be 2 or 3 weeks in this particular small project. And then they want just that the contractor be made aware if they see any turtles, they should be moved. We can't park equipment within that area in case one gets underneath and isn't noticed. But I think that, again, it's a very small impact. It will be very easy to manage. And they weren't saying that there were any long-term concerns. As I said, we're not really disturbing the way that the property is being used or increasing its usage as it is now. It's a heated living space, and it was used, as I said, as an art studio. So it's really a continued use that it previously had. We're just sort of bringing it into, doing a little housekeeping because it wasn't properly permitted originally when it was built and the permit was granted. We're sort of trying to get it on record that this has been approved in that fashion. I do have some photos that weren't part of the submission. So you can see the scale of the building is quite modest. And you can see the back here is the area that we're putting the porch on. So it's roughly a little over 400 square feet. So I think that sort of covers the application. I think it's pretty straightforward, and I think we've got a good contractor lined up that will respect the guidelines that are set forth for them.
Kevin McGee's. Yeah, we got three. Let me read two of them in. The first one's from John Goucher regarding this application dated May 26th of this year. We reviewed the above referenced proposal for consistency with the Connecticut Coastal Management Act policies and have no comments for the Planning and Zoning Commission's consideration. In addition, we have a letter from Dennis Johnson, Director of Health, Town of Guilford, dated May 31st regarding this application. Adequate wastewater capacity will be available for the applicant's proposed studio office through a shared septic system currently existing on the site for the accessory apartment. An exception to share a common septic system has been applied for through the State Health Department. It is recommended that the applicant's proposed use be approved.
There's also a letter from Kevin McGee dated yesterday. The applicant is proposing to install a 70 square foot deck, a 99 square foot porch set on sonotube footings, and the installation of a 24-inch wide drip strip within 29 feet of a coastal resource. The site plan provides for erosion and sedimentation control measures that are designed to protect the adjacent coastal resources. The work being conducted could impact the adjacent coastal resources if the erosion and sedimentation control measures are not properly maintained. In order to make sure that the coastal resources are protected during the construction process, I would recommend the following conditions of approval. One and only, the Town of Guilford zoning enforcement officer should be notified to inspect the sedimentation and erosion control measures prior to any site work. Soil stockpiles should be contained by silt fencing and/or hay bales. Soil erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be maintained until vegetation is established or suitable material is installed to the satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer. Well, that's probably already on your radar plan. Yeah.
And the other condition that was placed on this was that the lots be merged. I actually have the quick deed that was signed and submitted. I don't have a signed copy actually, but it's been signed and submitted, and there's a plan that goes along with it that's on the record deed for it as a Mylar. So that has been accomplished.
Okay. Questions from the commission?
I have none.
Anybody? Okay. Questions from the audience? Okay. Anyone here to either be opposed to this or in favor of it?
I had one quick question. Have you seen any of the box turtles yet?
I have not, but actually Michael D'Onofrio, who was the contractor, did some work on this property about 12 years ago and actually didn't note how many turtles there were on the property. So it's actually, they're not saltwater, but there's an inlet that comes in here that goes up. East River Preserve crosses it as you go down that trail, and that's, I guess, where they sort of hang out, but they do come up this way. But I think, again, it's going to be easily managed. There's a skunk that lives under this deck that needs to be dealt with as well.
Just had babies.
Okay. Hearing none, we're going to close this portion of the public hearing. Someone move that?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next is Bayberry Creek Marina. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Amy Johnston, owner of Bayberry Creek Marina. I'm proposing that we have an existing building already that we want to convert into 2 apartments for affordable housing.
Did you say for affordable housing?
Yes.
Then how do you define affordable housing?
For military, for Coast Guard, I mean, obviously they're apartments, so they're going to be very small, 750 square feet per unit. So obviously you cannot charge a whole lot of money for that.
Okay. So not like necessarily statutory affordable housing, which would run with the land record, but just like affordable in the sense of affordable.
For people
Sure.
that want
I
to come into
understand.
this beautiful town that we have.
No, I understand. There are a couple of things here that I'm going to read into the record. Have you received any of these letters from the town?
No.
Okay. So you can take all these when I'm done if you'd like.
Okay.
This first one is from Kevin. We reviewed the above reference proposed for consistency with the Coastal Management Act. policy and have no comments for the Planning and Zoning Commission's consideration. Please let me know if you have any questions. Oh, this is actually to Kevin from John Goucher. John Goucher is the environmental analyst. And please let me know if you have any questions or if you need any additional information. This one is from Dennis Johnson, the Director of Health. The applicant proposed apartment building will consist of two one-bedroom units. The building will utilize an existing on-site septic system, which currently has sufficient design capacity to accommodate the expected daily apartment water flow. The current water supply system consists of 3 below-ground public water storage tanks, followed by a UV disinfection system. It is recommended that this applicant's proposed site plan revision be approved. This one is from Kevin McGee, the environmental planner. The applicant is requesting to change the use of the building from a marina building to 2 residential apartments. The change in use of the building will not change the property's water-dependent use, since a 28-boat slip marina will remain in operation. The property is located in a FEMA flood zone BE elevation 13. The tenants of the apartment should be provided with notification that the property is subject to flooding at times of severe high tide. Do you have a problem with notifying tenants that the property may be
Not at all, built into the lease.
Perfect. All right, so those were all written in. I don't know if you'd like to keep these for your own.
Oh, sure.
Is there, do we have any, is this all interior work? There's no exterior work, so we
Correct.
don't have a plan or anything?
No exterior.
The building's existing?
Yes,
Parking?
they've got it.
Plenty of it.
Do you have a rough idea about what you think you'll be spending on the project?
Not really, no.
kind of-
It's minimal. It's minimal. 2 bathrooms already exist, so it's a wall or 2.
Do you know what the value of the building is?
When we bought it 5 years ago, it was $400,000.
Okay, I only ask this because this is in a velocity flood zone. If you spend more than 50% of the value of just the building, not including the land, the improvements, you become subject to full compliance with FEMA regulations for construction in a flood zone. And those are significant. Russ can probably tell you about that. And also conversion of use might also make you subject to that. So I would definitely double check those requirements before going full speed ahead on it.
So it becomes a cost issue, right?
Well, it's cost and conversion of use, I believe.
Well, before you can get a
triggers.
building permit, you have to go, obviously, apply for it.
Yes.
And then that's where they would make the determination as to the value and change of use. And if you're granted the building permit, you can go forward.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Right?
Yeah.
This only needs one here, right?
Okay. Any other questions of commissioners?
I don't have it.
Move and close.
Be careful. Yeah, because the downside is significant.
I know.
Like, if you go ahead and do it and then it gets determined after the fact, undoing it is a problem. So,
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So please, I think probably that the town will make sure that that all is, will help you with that. Okay, is there any questions from anybody else? Anybody in the audience want to ask a question? Is there anybody here, obviously you're in favor? I would assume. Is there anybody here in the audience else that either wants to speak favorably or against this proposal? Hearing none, let's close this portion of the public hearing. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, the next up is what I do in my agenda. Edward Miller, 400 Great Harbor Road. Hi, sir, how are you?
Good, thank you. Well, I'm Ed Miller, 104 Great Harbor Road. We have a small summer cottage on Leeds Island. It's right on the water, and it has a shed roof towards the front of the cottage. And with the wind always blowing up, about every 5 years, I have to replace the rolled roofing because there's not much of a pitch on it. And, you know, it's old, the windows are cracking, and they don't shut right, so I figured I would make a pitched roof, a peak roof, and put new windows around the front, and then put a slider door in the front to a little deck. 10 by 18 to go across the front of the cottage and go out 10 feet. And basically, that area where I want to put the deck is all ledge, and it's a pain in the neck to mow the lawn. I always hit my lawnmower blade on it, so it's going to cover the rocks that are there. There's not going to be any existing or new living space. It's not going to be adding any more roofing, other than taking the shed and making a peak. So the water will go off either side instead of off the front, but it's all ledge, that whole area. And we did the CAM permit, and, they recommend to put in a silt fence during the construction.
Do we have any kind of a drawing of what you're doing, anything? You do have it?
I do have the
I
CAM
just want to take,
permit
we'd
map.
like to take a look at that, if that's all right. You have it, sir? Okay.
Yes, Stan.
Oh, okay.
While we're doing that, let me read a couple letters into the record. The first one's from Dennis Johnson, dated June 15th, regarding the application. The applicant's proposed gable roof and deck addition will not affect the current septic system location or function, and it is recommended that the applicant's proposed addition be approved. We have another letter from John Goucher, Office of Long Island Sound Programs, Connecticut DEEP, regarding the application dated June 8th. We have reviewed the above referenced proposal for consistency with the CAM Act policies and have no comments for the Planning and Zoning Commission's approval. In addition, we have one final letter dated June 14th from Kevin McGee, the Town Environmental Planner. The applicant is proposing to remodel the front of the house and install a 10 by 18 deck. The site plan provides for erosion and sedimentation control measures that are designed to protect the adjacent coastal resources. The work being conducted could impact the adjacent coastal resources if the erosion and sedimentation control measures are not properly maintained. In order to make sure that the coastal resources are protected during the construction process, I recommend the following conditions of approval. Number one, that the Town of Guilford zoning enforcement officer should be notified to inspect the sedimentation and erosion control measures prior to any site work. A soil stockpile should be contained by silt fencing or hay bales. Soil erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be maintained until vegetation is established or suitable material is installed to the satisfaction of zoning enforcement.
Do you have copies of those letters?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And you don't have a problem with any of those conditions? No. Good. Okay, thank you.
I have another question. We're changing from we're going to put a pitch roof on, and I'm assuming it's going to have shingles on it? What's the material?
Yeah, more than likely.
So-
Are you going to put shingles on the roof?
Yes, architectural shingles.
Yeah.
So there's no requirement for any kind of handling the runoff from the roof? Stormwater management?
There's a
It
CAM
was
application.
reviewed by the environmental planner and John Goucher.
Well, he's already got the runoff. It's just that instead of going to the front, he's going to run it off to the side, and it's ledge. So wherever it's going now, it's going to continue to go there. It's no better, no worse.
None of these changes would trigger the same concerns we had with the last applicant and also the garage down by Brookfield Street where you spend more than a certain amount.
Is it in a flood zone?
Okay, good.
Okay. Good to go.
I'm all set.
Anybody in the audience have any questions? Is there anybody that would like to speak in opposition to this application? Anybody else want to speak in favor of the application? Is the applicant? Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm Larry Lee, 10 Horseshoe Road, and treasurer of the Lee Brothers Corporation that his cottage does sit on, and we have reviewed what he plans to do, and we have no opposition to it whatsoever.
Okay. That's it. Someone want to move?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right?
Okay. All right, now we're going to move on to the other one. Keep that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Revised agenda.
Yes, I have a motion to approve the revised agenda.
So second.
Okay, the first thing up is, now, this is the second hearing for
For the Shahid?
For the special permit, but they only need the one hearing for the
So they have to have, we have to have a second meeting? for
No,
the
we're all
camp?
set to go on this one. So
Right.
I'll make a motion, voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a CAM application and a special permit for the Shahid residence at 480 Clapboard Hill Road, map 81, lot 27, for an accessory structure and an office gym as shown on plans prepared by CK Architects and Anderson Engineering and Surveying Associates. 6 sheets dated April 26, 2016. The application approved with the following conditions, those that were in the appropriate letters that we had received.
Letter dated June 14, 2016.
Camp, that's the camp, yeah.
Okay.
Coastal Area Management. No, not for the camp, just for the special permit.
Do you want to read the whole thing, or just June 14th?
We'll incorporate the letter from Kevin McGee dated
June 14th.
June 14th. This application is approved based upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning code and is consistent with the coastal management policies of the state of Connecticut. The special permit is effective on June 24th and upon filing with the town clerk. We do need 2 hearings for the special permit, but for the CAM or the site plan, we don't require that, so we can take action tonight on it.
Second.
Any other comments the commissioners would like to make why you're supporting this or against it? For the record, so we...
Well laid out. There were no negative input from the public. It meets all the requirements. We had no input from John Goucher to the contrary. So I'm in favor of granting this.
Okay.
The only concern was the turtles, and they're on top of it.
Yes.
They're aware of it.
I see no reason not to support it.
I guess someone seconded this, you did?
I think Josh.
Okay, so hearing no further discussion, let's take a vote. All in favor of this application, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Anybody opposed? Okay, moving on.
I'll make a motion. Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a coastal area management and site plan for Bayberry Creek Marina, 311 Chaffinch Island Road, map 23, lot 2, to create 2 apartment units in an existing building as shown on an application dated 5/11/2016. This application is approved with the following condition, that the landlord would notify tenants that there is a chance of flooding. This application is approved based upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning code and is consistent with the coastal area or coastal management policies of the state of Connecticut.
Second.
Discussion?
I would love to have heard some comment from Mark Damiani with respect to conversion of use of a building in a velocity flood zone.
But they'll have a chance to weigh in when they issue the certificate of occupancy or the building permit.
I mean, I think that Guilford, particularly, is a town that needs housing for people that can spend around, $800,000 a month, and this is going to address that. And I think that going to a residential use is always a little bit of a less of an impact than what it is right now, even though it might not really be utilized at all right now. So I'm in favor of it.
What's your concern, Phil?
I just think that if you convert the use on this building, you have to come into full, and that's why, check with with Mark Damiani and Mr. Portley, but full flood compliance is a really significant jump.
Sure is.
Really,
It's a very-
very expensive.
Very legitimate concern, and at the time you apply for the building permit make sure you do apply for the building permit.
That's true.
Get it in writing from them.
Right. If the permit is granted, prior to the granting of it, they need to take those factors into consideration.
It will fall back upon you whether you get a permit or not.
So make sure you know what they're
So
doing.
make sure you get it in writing from them, that they have reviewed this, that they fully think it's compliant, and that whatever you're doing, that you won't become subject to full FEMA regulation on it. I'm going to vote yes, but I'm telling you now, get it in writing and make sure it's double checked.
Thanks, that's good. All right, any other comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Nobody is opposed. Okay. Edward Miller, Got to read a proposal? I'll do that. Read a motion, please.
Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve coastal area management application for Edward Miller of 104 Great Harbor Road, map 14, lot 20, as shown on the coastal area management site plan, 104 Great Harbor Road, dated May 23, 2016, prepared by Nafis and Young Engineers. This application is approved with the following conditions as mentioned in the letter submitted by Kevin McGee for erosion control and sedimentary examination.
Second?
Second.
Comments?
He's actually improving it. He's on lift, so it's not going to change any of the drainage. I would do it if I were him.
Okay. Okay, hearing no other comments, let's vote on this. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? So that's the end of that. All right. All right, let's see, what do we have to do legal here? We're moving on to the subdivisions. We have A&K Living Trust combined Lot 7 Gables, map 85, lot 37-7, with Lot 18 Guilford Village, map 86, lot 87, zone R5, 50 High Meadow Road.
All you have to do is receive that application.
There's a motion here, we don't need to worry about that.
No, the applicant's not here.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we receive the application.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have a request from Christine Baker, then again at Consignments and Flowers on the Green, 959 Boston Post Road, map 47, lot 2, zone PV, site plan revision to allow permanent outdoor display of merchandise sold by both businesses.
They're not here yet, but they're expected, so if you could table that until later in the agenda.
Make a motion, we table the application for this evening?
Second. All in favor, say aye.
They might be here later this evening.
We're not here. We're not here.
We've got 10 minutes at this rate.
Okay. Applications to be received, special permits. So here on Bullseye, is that right? Bullseye?
Yeah, perfect.
2 Covey Crossing, map 81, lot 13-3, zone R5. Special permit for accessory apartment 273-19, receiving a public hearing for July 20th to be continued to August 3rd for mandatory second public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Second.
Second.
Aye.
Sigh.
Okay, next is Gary Terwilliger, 1725 Little Meadow Road, map 97, lot 32, zone R8, special permit for accessory apartment and attached accessory structure, receiving set public hearing date for 8/17 to be continued to 9/7 for mandatory second public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, site plans. MAC Management, 299 Long Hill Road, map 73, lot 10, zone I2, site plan revision for improvement required to allow Southern Connecticut Gas to occupy a 1-acre portion of the site. Improvements will include fence installation, creation of parking and area paving and driveway and storage bin areas. Receive and take action on 8/17.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
13 Summit Suite LLC, 2455 Boston Post Road and 27 Westlake Avenue, map 84, lot 28 and 29, zone TS2. Site plan revision to convert the commercial building along Westlake Avenue identified as Building B to 2 residential units and to add patios to the rear of the building. Receive and take action on 7/20.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have a request here from Karen Hilburn, just attached 112 State Street for a 20 tent, a 20 by 20 foot tent in parking lot July 14th, 15th, and 16th. Just hatched preview sale July 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Guilford Town sidewalk sale.
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
They've asked for this every year, right?
Yeah, she customarily
Okay.
puts a tent in
Okay.
her parking lot because
So this
She
is
doesn't
some,
have a sidewalk.
So the tent would be the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd through?
No.
No, okay, just those 6 days.
14, 15, and 16
Yeah.
is one sale. Then she takes it down, and then it goes up again, or maybe she'll leave it up. She'll be using it the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd.
Gotcha, okay.
I'll second Josh's motion.
any other comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, before we go, Mark had, from EDC, called me and asked if he could just have a short time to read, I think, a few sentences.
3 sentences.
3 sentences.
If you don't want me to read the intro. Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to working with all of you together on many projects. Thank you. Thank you. We had our elections last Tuesday, and I'm looking forward to it. Just a quick request. We, the Guilford Economic Development Commission, respectfully request that a subcommittee be formed of the Zoning Committee specifically for 27347, outdoor displays. The subcommittee should be comprised of not only members of the Planning and Zoning Commission, but members of the EDC, local merchants, our zoning enforcement officer, town planner, and the general public. The EDC is committed to resolving this issue for our merchants and requests that a deadline of July 15th, 2016 be in place so it can be presented for its first public hearing at your July 20th meeting. Sincerely, Mark Wasserman, Guilford Economic Development Commission.
Recuse myself from this time, so I'm not going to take part in it.
It's just communication. There's no discussion.
I'm not sure.
But when I recuse myself from the discussion.
Okay, so you want to come on with that, but I don't know how we can possibly do this by July 15th.
You can't. You'd have to, who's doing zoning? Is it still Walter?
Well, the commission is still as it was. It's composed of the same people.
So Walter and Ray.
Ray's on it.
I'm on it. I would have to recuse myself.
And he would have to recuse myself, so,
I'm on the
but
zoning.
I think what he's asking for is there to be other input.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, personally, I think that's a fair idea.
Sure.
To really, we need regular public members and merchants and
Okay.
come up with some.
So could we have the meetings at a time when the public can go and not in the middle of the day? That was always
That was, yeah, Walter.
That's in process, my friend.
good. I'd like to be there. I'd volunteer to be there.
Okay, all right. So we heard you, and I'm just worried about July 15th because we don't meet again until the 20th of July.
We just wanted to put a timeline out there. I know that we are all anxious to get this behind us and get something that appeals to everyone. So mainly we want to be a part of it, but we want to keep the ball moving. We don't want to drag this out till the end of the summer when the merchants don't get any benefit from whatever passes.
We'll do our best.
Weeks from now.
Appreciate that.
I think we could do it. Tom, the 15th of July is 4 weeks from now. I think we could possibly do something.
Well, we could
in
probably
that
get a
week.
zoning committee meeting
Get a zoning
together, but
committee,
we're not going to be
yes.
able to.
So the question is, but the other people that he's talking about,
Well, EDC can always come to the zoning committee meeting
How about
for
merchants?
public comment, and so can members of the public.
okay. All right, so let me work on getting a zoning committee meeting between now and then. I would ask that you participate in this and try to get some people from EDC and other merchants to come to the meeting. You take that side of it, and we'll try to get our people rounded up. Okay?
Yep.
All right?
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So is this, ma'am, who are you?
I'm Christy Baker.
Just in time, because we're about ready to adjourn.
I'll make the motion, we receive
quicker
the
than thought.
application
Yeah.
for Christina Baker.
Second.
I would have been here earlier.
All in favor? All right.
Come on up, present.
Over.
You're on.
Do it.
Right here.
You just name and address for the record.
Good evening, committee. My name is Christy Baker, owner and designer of Flowers on the Green in Guilford, 959 Boston Post Road.
Okay.
So you want to put display merchandise out in front of the store, right?
That's correct.
I have a picture of the aerial photograph of Christie's store. She has a big lawn area. She wants to display here and here.
So this is next to Brownstone.
Yes, it's next to
Where the
Brownstone.
fireworks used to be.
Yep. This is her store. Flowers on the green.
Did you get zoning for that?
So this is Christie's store. She has two businesses in the building.
One is describing business for me.
One is Flowers on the Green, which is a
She has two
full-service
businesses in this
florist. We
building,
deliver
and she has
flowers
all
locally
this
as well as
area that she
worldwide.
wants to utilize for
And
outdoor
a
display.
big part of my business is decorating for the holidays for my clients. So I often have seasonal wreaths outside, which need to be outside, or also another big part of my business is planting flowers at people's homes. So obviously those plants need to be outside as well.
It doesn't look like you have any space issues, huh?
What's that?
It doesn't look like you have any space issues to put this outside, correct?
I'm confined in that little grassy area. It's like a 16 by 13 space. Excuse me.
You see that?
And then the application does indicate it's just in that area.
Yes. Well, what she would like to do is have the flowers, correct me if I'm wrong, in front of Flowers on the Green, and then the consignment shop items in front of that shop, and maybe integrate a little bit too.
Right. I do have a consignment shop, which I sell used items. We're all about recycling things, helping people get rid of their stuff that they don't want and selling it for inexpensive. Whereas people don't want to throw away old windows, they bring them to me and I pay them and then I sell them. Windows are very desirable, believe it or not, in the wedding world, as well as shutters and that such thing. Also, a lot of my clients were asking for garden benches and archways and arbors, which I use for my weddings. So I found a source, and I have sold quite a few nice garden benches because there's really not a place around that sells them. So there was a need for that.
Questions, comments?
No, I have none.
No? I'll make a motion, okay? Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan revision for Christie Baker, 959 Boston Park Road, map 47, lot 2, to allow outdoor displays as shown on a map submitted to, aerial map submitted to the town of Guilford today. This application is approved with the condition that it conforms with the terms of the application. The application is approved based upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning code.
Second.
So the map's going to delineate, there's going to be something delineates where she can actually display stuff, is that correct?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Christie, but she wants to use the two grass areas right in front of the building.
So would that go all the way up to Route 1?
No, sir,
it's
I will
just-
not deviate. My parking is in between. No, it is not going to.
Specifically
I
detailed
believe
on the
it's just right
application
there.
where...
Yeah, it's right in front of the building.
Right in front, these two patches, right, can you come in?
Yeah, no, that's right.
Well, just so it alleviates any concern. So this and this, right, and that and that?
No,
Is that right?
no, this is, no, don't look at this, it's right here.
Right-
Okay,
right
just those
here.
two. yeah,
These
just
two
those two
This is
patches.
my parking lot.
This is the
and
Brownstone
Okay,
Restaurant.
forget
Yeah,
about that.
this
So
is
just
my
these
flower
two.
shop, and that's my consignment shop. So
And that's all parking lot over
in
there.
these two areas, sir.
Can I
not under
just
the road.
make a suggestion that we
Mark that.
outline those and keep that as part of the application so
Yeah, we'll
that
do that.
if there's ever an enforcement issue.
No, you gotta do it with red pen.
What's been allowed tonight.
Okay. So, are we ready to
Are
vote?
there any limitations with respect to timing or days or anything like that? Or is it just 365?
I think the chief had the windows up already, I've seen them there, that's not, there's nothing wrong.
It's,
Not a problem.
you pull them in when you close, right, because you don't want people to steal them?
It's the front.
It's just humanly impossible to do that. I mean, one, it's very physically challenging. I actually, trust people that they won't take things. But, and also, like, in the wintertime when there are reeds outside, they need to be where it's cold. So, it's not conducive for me to bring them in, nor like any other gardens center,
So you sell Christmas trees at Christmas?
No, not Christmas trees, just wreaths, sir.
How about this color?
What? Sprays, cemeteries, sprays, garland, and then I take them and decorate people's houses.
Should we get a propane cage out there? Get a big tank.
Okay. Is everybody satisfied with this now?
Yes.
And you marked it?
We're good, yeah?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Please, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay. All right, good enough.
Thank you, Mayor.
So we're down to the bills.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we pay the bills for Pure Publishing for $326.30.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, inasmuch as there's no other business before the commission, I make a motion to close this hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. 8:15.